Welcome to Donna Just Being Real. My channel is all about dating, love, relationships, and toxic relationship advice channel. So we back at it again. I'm going to be doing different clips on different people that's on the stand for this trial. And I'm really going to focus on the silly women. This woman that's on the stand is Auntie. Now, Auntie has 5 kids by this sleazeball. 5 kids. 5 kids by a man who's, if I'm correct, I stand to be corrected. I'm about sure that she already knew that he had a thing for, you know, and you having kids by him. My question is, I wonder how you're going to explain all of this to your 5 children about their dad. Hmm, interesting. All right, so there might be times I might pause a little bit so I can share my thoughts and opinions. All right, because we really want to focus on, like I said, my channel's all about dating, love, and relationship and toxic relationships. So we want to focus on these women. Ladies, we have to do better. You cannot be laying down with these dusties. You cannot let these type of men come before your children because this should have never happened to her if she was protected. But she wasn't protected. Not at all. Hmm. All right, let's get it. The focus is on Aunt Shannon Harris. She's on the stand. And then I believe either Thursday or something, I'm going to get into Grandma. Let's get it.
Raise your right hand.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes. Watch that, please. Have a seat.
You want to speak into this mic, you can also pick it up over your lap.
I forgot to mention, when I do recaps, I usually put the speed on 1.25. So the speed is on 1.25. If you need to get to the settings, set it to whatever's comfortable for you. If you want it faster, you want it slower, whatever you like to do, you can hit the settings and you can go from there. But I think this 1.25, you'll be able to understand pretty much what they're saying on this stand. All right, and don't forget, hit the like. If you need to reach out to me, look in the description. You can find my email address for coaching, dating, love, relationship, toxic relationship, or you have a you can speak to me about something on the side, or you have a views request. Go from there. Let's get it.
Whenever you're ready, Mrs. Griffin.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning. Could you please state your name for the record?
Shannon Harris,
And Ms. Harris, how old are you?
31.
And back on January, or in January 2024, where did you live?
But
Okay, she's 31. He's 42. And you got 5 kids. When did you start? How old are the kids? They might say it. Let's watch it.
my mom resides with my mother,
With your mother? Okay, who's your mom?
Annette Harris,
And without telling me the exact address, what street did you live on?
Bedford.
And do you have any children?
Yes,
How many kids do you have?
5.
And do all your kids have the same dad?
Yes,
Who's their dad?
Jarvis Butts.
And do you see Jarvis Butts in the courtroom today?
Yes,
And can you point to him and tell me the color of the clothing that he's wearing?
green. Well, whatever. Green.
Green. Your Honor, would the record reflect the witnesses identify the defendant in this case?
So reflected.
Thank you, Judge. And you said your mom's name is Annette. Do you have any sisters?
Yes, 2.
What are their names?
Kenyatta Harris and Marquita Harris.
Are they older, younger, something else?
Oh, there. Marquita is a twin. She's my twin, same age.
And Kenyatta is older?
Yes,
Do you have any nieces or nephews?
yes,
Do you know someone named Neziah Harris?
yes.
What's your relationship to her?
My relationship to her, she is my niece. I'm her aunt.
Okay. And whose daughter is she?
My older sister is Kenyatta Harris.
And did you have any nicknames for Neziah?
Yes, we all called her Tuh.
And is that Tudda?
Yes.
Red flag to me. Why would you name a girl Tug? I never heard of it. What's the meaning with that? I don't know. It's an abbreviation for one of her names. I don't know. That's very weird. I don't know. Anybody knows? Let me know. Put in the comment section. All right, resume.
And did Desire ever know Jarvis through you?
Yes.
And when did Desire and Jarvis first meet?
When she was little, like age 2.
And can you kind of describe the relationship between Desire and Jarvis?
Should be just the uncle and the niece relationship, no more than that.
How often would Jarvis be around?
Did you see the judge's face when she said, uncle and niece relationship, nothing else? Mm-hmm. Mm-mm-mm. This poor little girl was not protected at all. Because all these women were worried about the wood stick. They thought about themselves. I'm going to get into all his women that come on the stand. And when it does go to trial, oh my gosh, it's going to be so much stuff that's going to come out. Resume.
Like at your house with you?
He will call or say, can he come see the kids? Or the kids will ask, can he see their dad? And he will come pull up either to my house where I used to live or at my mother's house.
Would Desire ever be around?
All the kids would be around.
To your knowledge, would Desire ever text Jarvis?
From my knowledge, no, unless I will have her to text.
But to your knowledge, you didn't know of any kind of separate outside relationship?
No.
Would there ever be times where where did you know Jarvis Butts to work?
Pardon?
Where did you know Jarvis Butts to work?
Where did I know him to work at?
Yes.
He worked at 2 different locations. The first location would be on East Warren, and the other location would be on Gratiot and Connor.
And what were those locations?
Those are the auto repair shop.
Would you ever know Desire to help Jarvis Butts at his shop?
Yes, he will call me and say, hey, if I can get our daughter and Messiah come and work up at the shop. And I would say, let me ask my mom first regarding Messiah.
And which daughter of yours would that be?
That would be my oldest, Janiyah.
Would you ever know Desire to go to Jarvis's shop alone?
No.
Whose birthday is on or around September 26th?
That's my 4th oldest birthday.
Do you recall a birthday party on September 26th of 2022?
Yes.
And was Jarvis there?
No.
Okay, and that would have been his son's birthday party?
Yes.
Were there ever times that you would text Jarvis off of a text now number?
The only time I would text Jarvis off a text now number is if my phone is off. Other than that, no.
And do you recall the numbers that you would text Jarvis from?
Yes.
Okay. And does a 586-510-5161 sound familiar?
Yes.
And what number is that?
That used to be my old number.
And is that number that you would text Jarvis from?
Yes.
And what about a 586-842-4504?
That was the number before this number.
Before the 510 number?
Correct.
Okay. And is that a number you would also text Jarvis from?
Correct.
And what number did you have for Jarvis Butts?
The 313-585-8719.
And did you have any numbers for Desire?
It was a funny looking area code. The area code was a 231.
I want to show you some messages from People's Exhibit 16 and ask you some questions about them, okay?
Okay.
Brandon, may I approach? Yes. to direct you to messages on or about June 27th of 2023. Do you recall those messages? Did you send any of those messages to Jarvis Butts?
No.
And do you know, I believe there's a phone number here that's highlighted. Whose phone number do you know that to be?
Jarvis Butts.
Okay, and you don't recall ever sending any of those messages?
No.
And now I want to direct you to messages from June 28th of 2023. How about any of these? Did you send any of these to Jarvis Butts?
No.
What about any messages from July 2nd of 2023? Did you send any of those messages?
No.
What about messages from August 26th of 2023? Did you send any of those to Jarvis Butts?
Sorry, you said 26?
August 26th.
No. These aren't my messages.
Did Jarvis Butts ever tell you that Nizaya texted him to meet up on January 9th, 2024?
No.
Did you tell Jarvis Butts about not being able to locate Nizaya on January 9th, 2024?
Yes.
And tell me, how did you tell him that?
I called him. He didn't answer. I sent him a message asking him, has he seen Tilda in your whereabouts? And I said no Tilda, and he responded back. Oh
I
wow.
didn't hear what you said, the last part.
Last part I had I texted him. Well, at first I called him. He didn't answer. The second time I sent him a message, still no Tilda. He replied back, oh wow.
Okay, thank you.
And
I have a question. I'm very curious, Shannon. How are you going to explain this? How are you explaining this to your kids? That you had 5 kids by Dusty, by a lowlife who preys on children. hmm You know, I don't know exactly how old the kids are, but they get old, they're going to start putting two and two together. And they're going to start looking back at it, and they're going to look at you like, Mom, what the heck were you with him? Why would you lay down with this man with 5 kids, knowing the type of dude he is? What does he have to offer you? Ladies, we have to do better. Mothers who have daughters, you need to teach your daughters on how to be a lady and how to date. Even if you're all screwed up in your head because you have bad relationships, which happens, get some books, read about it, educate your daughters, educate your granddaughters. And to the fathers, do you know you the first man in your daughter's life? So I think you need to step up your game because 9 times out of 10, daughters is going to marry somebody that's like you. So what type of person are you? What are you teaching your daughter? Hmm? I'm just saying. But don't get me wrong. You can teach your kids all of this stuff and they won't listen. But at least you did teach them. And believe me, when something happens, it's going to hit their mind like, yo, mom, dad said something to me about this. hmm All right, let's get back to it. What are you gonna tell him, Shannon? Because you sitting there like you got an attitude. You probably gonna write him, send him some money, saying, well, that is my kid's father. We have to do better. She's a silly woman. And to ladies, if you have friends that's silly like this, cut them off. Because keeping them as a friend, you are being an enabler. Yes, you are. Just cut them off. Just ghost them. Just easily just drift out their life. You
Oh,
don't need friends like this in your life. I'm sorry. What were you gonna say, Jack?
oh, Donna, is that the woman, the aunt,
Yeah, that's the aunt, and she has 5 kids from him.
by that guy,
Yeah.
the same guy,
The same guy that, yes, let me show you him again.
the piss colored one,
Yep. She had to have that. Mm-hmm.
and let me look at her again.
Okay, let's look at her again. Would this help more? That's it there. That's her.
Hoy vey.
hmm He knew the ones to pick, didn't you? You know.
Yeah, he knew the ones to pick.
Uh-huh.
I'm not gonna say what I really want to say. I'll say.
I know. We kind of hold back a little bit, but basically, you was thirsty. hmm All right, let's get back to it, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you hit the like, share your thoughts and opinions in the comment section, people that's here and the replay and all that good stuff. All right, let's get back to it.
Your Honor, may I approach?
Yes.
And just for record references, I'm showing her what's going to be proposed, People's Exhibit 48. Ms. Harris, those text messages that you just referenced, do you see those on this page?
Yes.
And so it's fair to say you stated to Mr. Butts, well, first of all, whose phone number is this at the top?
The phone number is my old telephone number.
Okay, and who is the phone number below that?
Jarvis Butts.
And is this, I guess, do these fairly and accurately represent these 2 messages? 3, 4, 5, 6 messages sent between you and Mr. Butts on January 9th, 2024 through January 11th, 2024.
The first page is, yes, it's correct. Second page is correct.
Have you noticed YouTube has way more ads than it used to? Here's how you can block them for free.
Yes.
And so on January 9th, like you had indicated before, you had stated that you told him that there was still no tuta.
Correct.
Okay. And you said he responded, oh, wow.
Correct.
Okay. And on January 11th, was Nizaya still missing?
Yes.
Okay. And did you ask Mr. Butts to do something?
No, at this point, I just acted as if she's going to read from the text message just admit the exhibit.
I can't.
Issue with moving to admit.
No, Judge.
Okay.
Do these fairly and accurately represent text messages between you and your phone to Jarvis and
Now, mind you, she has 5 kids from him, right? There was a woman on the stand. I think she's the side chick. I don't even know what he called them. One woman's on the stand that was a fiance. But I'm gonna repeat those other women. I'm really gonna get into all these women. I'm gonna pick at every one of these women because we can learn from this. We can definitely learn from this. And you know what? If you got daughters, granddaughters, talk to them. Because these creeps and these sleazeballs are around. And remember, a lot of things guys won't do. They only doing it because you let them. Because the other girl, she told me she a fiance, but she ain't never been to his home. But I'll say that one. We're gonna get into the fiance another day. Let's stick to Auntie. Auntie, all this stuff was happening the house. Auntie, she would text him, come down to the basement. Auntie, reason.
his phone between, well, they start back earlier, some from December 3rd, 2023 through January 21st of 2024. These fairly and accurately represent text messages between
Yes.
you and your phone to Mr. Butts and his phone?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, I move for the admission of People's Proposed Exhibit 48.
Okay, then we admitted.
Thank you, Judge. So on January 11th, did you ask Mr. Butts to do something?
Yes.
And what is it that you asked him to do?
I asked him, can he share the missing flyer on his Facebook page?
Okay. And did you send him a copy of that missing flyer?
Yes.
Okay. And to backtrack just a little bit, on December 3rd, 2023,
Help me to understand, why is she sitting up there with attitude? Like she doesn't want to be bothered because she wants to, she worshiped that creep's wood stick. Your niece is unalive. 13-year-old. Why are you acting like this on the stand? Are y'all watching this? I hope y'all peeping this, because I'm definitely peeping this. This poor girl, she didn't have a chance living in this household.
do you recall sending messages asking Mr. Butts if he needed Nizaya for anything?
Oh, yes, I do remember.
Okay. So do you remember this text on the first page of People's Exhibit 48?
Yes, I do remember this message.
Okay. And did you send that message?
Yes.
Okay. And what did the message say?
Tada said, do you still need her too?
Okay. And do you know what is that referring to?
It was Tada had asked me to contact Jarvis and see if he still needed them to clean up.
Okay. And that would be to clean up his shop?
Yes.
Okay. And to fast forward, on January 21st, 2024, you sent some messages to Mr. Butts. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And can you read these last 3 messages?
These last 3 messages is to be honest, these messages I seen into the inbox to you, I really don't know what to believe anymore. Stay away, Ramon, I mean it. The next message is I don't know what to say, or Tada is gone. Says this shit doesn't sit right with me. Call it what you want. I'm good, period. It says this for life. Nigga, I thought about it. And you can pass it. And don't call me, no need to explain shit. I already see it.
Okay. So you were referencing some messages that you saw in Tada's inbox.
Correct.
Tell me, how did you see some messages? Well, first of all, where these messages, where were they at?
The day of Officer Gardner came to pick up Nazaya's tablet. My mom asked me to put it on the charger. I put it on the charger. Officer Gardner, after that, Officer Gardner called and said she's on her way.
This is hearsay. Without saying what.
Okay, I'm sorry. The officer had called and said that they was on their way to come
Still
pick up
hearsay.
the tablet.
Okay,
Okay. So
sustain as far as hearsay.
yes, thank you, Judge. Okay, continue.
So before the tablet was picked up, I looked inside Tilla's tablet. She has 2 passwords that I normally know. So one of them is referenced for her brother's birthday, and the other one is referenced for my password. So I put the first password in, it didn't work. So I put the second password in. So the first thing I went to was Instagram, which I was scrolling. And I seen Jarvis Butts' Instagram page. I clicked on his page and I seen 2 messages.
Okay. And what were the messages that you saw? Who were they between, first of all?
Nazaya, my niece, and Jarvis.
Okay. And what were the messages that you seen?
It was roughly 2 messages that I have seen that I can recall. States.
I'm gonna object to this as hearsay. They have not been admitted, and the messages themselves would be the evidence. Were the messages of a sexual nature?
No.
Okay. And you said you saw 2 messages.
Yes.
Okay. Did you see anything else?
It was 2 sent pictures, but you can't really make anything out. There wasn't nothing there, but it was a picture was sent.
Okay. What did seeing those messages, what did they cause you to do?
Well, when I see no messages, I called him and Jarvis Butts.
Okay.
Called him while he was at work, asked him, what is these messages I seen between you and my niece? And he said, what messages? Said it's 2 particular messages that states out in this picture. And he stated that, I don't know, these messages, I told him what the messages were, and he said it was probably our children was messaging him. And I stated no, because I know how our children will text.
I got over 1 million subscribers on YouTube without ever even showing
messages, is that what caused you to text?
In between you and my niece. And he said, what messages? Said there's two particular messages that states out in this picture. And he stated that, I don't know, these messages, I told him what the messages were. And he said it was probably our children was messaging him. And I stated no, because I know how our children will text.
And reading those messages, is that what caused you to text
Mr. Butts, yes,
Mr. Butts, in that you see the messages in the inbox and you don't really know what to believe anymore?
correct.
One second, please. So, Shannon, I want to take you back to January 9th. Were you home that day?
Yes,
Okay. And did you see Naziah that day?
my senior did that morning, correct.
And do you remember what she was wearing at all?
Her coat and her uniform at the time, she had on some blue jeans. I don't really recall the outfit. I just know the coat she had on.
What was the coat that she had on?
She had on, it was a 90s coat with all the characters on it.
And you recall seeing her wearing that the morning of January 9th?
Correct.
And your automatic proof was already exhibit 2?
Yes.
I'm going to show you people's exhibit 2. Can you tell me, do you recognize a coat in this photo?
Yes,
And whose coat do you recognize that to be?
Naziah's.
Now, after you, when you saw Naziah that morning, what did you do the rest of the morning?
Nothing, I was at home with my mom and my 2 children.
And do you ever leave the house at any point that day?
No, I was at the house the whole entire day.
And do you know what time Naziah would normally get home from school?
On certain days, she will stay for after school, and then on certain days she will come home. The days she will stay for after school is 6. And the days that she don't, is at 3 o'clock.
And on January 9th, do you know if Naziah had the after-school program?
Yes, at that time, my mom took her out of the after-school program. So she will come home directly at 3 o'clock.
Okay, and were you home at 3 o'clock?
Yes,
And did you see Naziah come home?
no,
And did you see her come home at all the rest of the night?
no,
Did you leave at any point after 3 o'clock?
no.
Did you, yes, when Naziah didn't come home, did that cause you to experience or feel any type of way?
It did. When she didn't come home is when my mom went to go pick up the other 2 children from the after school program. They knocked on the door and they had asked a question and said,
Objection, sounds like hearsay.
What is it? You have a response or?
A question isn't hearsay technically.
I think she said.
She has a question?
Yes.
Getting ready to say a question. Okay.
What was the question? What was the question?
the 2 children had asked me, Mom said, did
That's the hearsay.
Naziah come home?
The hearsay is mom said.
Okay, so were you asked directly whether Naziah came home?
So my mom was still in the car. I was inside the house. They was coming to the house, walking up to the door. When I opened the door, they asked me, Mom said, did Naziah come home? I said, no.
And was Naziah home at all?
No.
Okay. And did you do any sort of looking for Naziah that night?
Yes.
What did you do?
I called my twin sister. I called some of her friends that I know that stays close by. If they had seen Naziah, heard from Naziah and everything. And when I reached out to my sister, she said no. Her friend said no. So after that, I asked my mom, did she want me to call police? She said no, she will take it up in the morning.
Just one Shannon, did you know Naziah to have a pair of red and black Nike shoes?
Yes.
And if I showed you a picture of them, would you be able to?
Hi guys, I'm Jojo. I'm an au pair living in Chicago and with my host family, and there are my host parents and my 3 host kids.
Identify them.
Yes.
Erin, may I approach?
Yes.
And for the record, this is going to be from People's Proposed Exhibit 14, and it'll be picture 34. Do you recognize these shoes?
Yes, that's a pair of shoes that my mom bought for to the birthday.
Okay, thank you. Now, back on the 9th, you said your mom was going to file a police report in the morning.
Correct.
Okay, did you go with her to file a police report in the morning?
No, it was my older sister.
Okay. Did you do anything on the 10th as it relates to trying to find Isaiah?
Yes. We went out. I and some others went out to go get some pictures, made copies. We went to other stores, passed out flyers, and everything that we need to do. Now, what was asked of us to do.
And since January 9th, 2024, have you seen Isaiah?
No.
Have you, since January 9th, 2024, have you heard from Isaiah?
No.
Nothing further at this time, Judge.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Harris, I also have some questions for you. You and Mr. Butts have been, or you've known him for about 12 years?
Correct.
And fair to say that you were in a dating relationship with him for most of that time?
Correct.
But towards the end, like last year, it was more off and on, fair to say?
No, it was on and off for years.
For years, okay. But you have 5 children with him?
Correct.
And this relationship that you had with him, even towards the end when it was on, it was a sexual relationship, right?
Correct.
Sometimes you go to a motel to have sex with him,
Correct. Yes.
and that motel was the Park Crest Inn.
Or the SharePoint.
There was more than one,
Multiples, yes.
but one of them was the Park Crest. Said yes,
Correct.
and it's in Harper Woods
Correct.
on Harper.
Correct.
Do you know if Mr. Butts, or do you suspect that Mr. Butts has taken other women to those motels also?
Correct.
You do. I believe you said that you have, of your 5 children.
Wow. This creep sleazeball was making a fool out of these women and messing with the children. Wow. See, this is what I'm talking about, ladies. You have to date smart, not thirsty. You really do. And if you have a problem with that, there is therapy that you can go to. Don't go to the girlfriends. Sometimes you can't go to girlfriends because if the girlfriends is kind of messed up in the head and they not really dating smart, they're really not going to give you no good advice. No. Go to somebody who's a professional. There's books. You can go to the library, get books. They're free. Go online. And stop putting these men before your children. A real solid man, he's not going to respect any woman who puts him before her children. He's not going to want you. Only person that's going to deal with that is only these creep, slimeball dusties. That's the men you're going to attract.
They need to go to Jesus. I mean,
Yeah,
seriously, they, you can go therapy, whatever. They need Jesus. Okay. That's what they need.
Mhm.
They need Jesus Christ.
I can't
Okay.
believe what I'm hearing this with these women on the stand. And they grown women. What's wrong with them? That's why I said they a bunch of silly women. And he knew the
No,
ones.
they're living in their second childhood.
Or following their mama's footsteps.
Well, that too.
Mhm.
And their mama is following their third childhood.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
These women are living their second childhood, so
Mm-hmm.
they'll never grow up.
Never.
Never grow up.
Because
You just got kids raising kids. That's what it boils down to.
Yeah, kids raising kids. And the funny thing about it is, do you notice, Jack, her attitude on the stand? It's like she don't want to be bothered. Do you know your niece is missing? She's gone. Why you have an
She
attitude?
don't care. She don't care. All she cares about is about the albino sausage. That's all.
That's all she care about. That's it. You're right. She care about that guy. He ain't even paying you no attention. He was
He
playing
ain't
you.
got no. He ain't had no money to buy that girl some pants. Ain't that something? You already sexually sexualizing this little girl and got her messed up, and then you can't even barely buy her any matching pants. Ain't that something?
Mhm. This guy is a true creep. What is wrong with people?
Creep
Welcome
is
back
not
to
even the word.
Karma. Just ridiculous. Good Karma, don't forget to email me. Email me when you can. All right, let's get back to it.
Damn,
This is
pedophile.
really.
That's what he is.
Mhm. And the thing about it, Jack, they knew this crap about him and still wanted to be with him.
That's what I'm saying. They live in their second childhood.
I'm gonna have to
It's
go back to
about it's about what can I get out of it and who I got to sacrifice to do it.
that. Oh boy. All right, let's get back to it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for hitting the like and thank you for engaging. Resume.
Children with him, 2 are girls
Yes,
and 3 are boys.
correct.
And in January of this time, well, January 2023, you were living with your mother on Bedford, correct?
Correct.
Prior to that, were you living in Clinton Township?
Correct.
When did you leave the Clinton Township home and move to the Bedford home?
October 23.
So there were times when you were in Clinton Township that Mr. Butts would travel out there to see the kids,
Correct.
and then when you moved to the Bedford address, he would go to the Bedford address to see the kids.
Correct.
And then the Bedford address is when Uzziah was also living there, correct?
Correct.
And I believe you just testified that on January the 9th, you were living at that house in
Correct.
Bedford, and you were there during the day.
Correct.
And so were you one of the first people that realized that Uzziah did not come home when she was expected to be home?
Well, I didn't realize it until I had got a question by the other kids had asked that I have Naziah came home yet, or have I seen her? And I said no.
Do you remember what time that was in the afternoon?
That was in the evening. My mom picked them up 6 o'clock.
So that was about 3 hours later than she normally should have been home.
Correct.
Was that surprising?
Yes, it was. One, we thought that she was at the after school program, but it didn't dawn on no one until my mom came back to the house and she wasn't here, or she wasn't in the car when they had got in the car.
And so when you all realized that she wasn't at school and she wasn't at home, was that surprising?
Yes.
But you didn't go to police that night.
No.
She ever not returned home previously?
No, this is her first time ever doing this.
Did she have friends in the neighborhood that she would go visit?
Yes.
And you said, are those the folks that you contacted to ask?
Yes.
You were just shown a pair of red and black Nike shoes, right?
Correct.
And you identified those shoes as being Naziah's shoe. Is that correct?
Correct.
It's a shoe that looks like the shoe that Naziah's wearing, correct?
Correct. Correct.
You can't say for sure that that exact
Yes,
shoe came from Naziah, is that fair to say?
Correct.
I think you testified that very rarely would you ever use text now to contact Mr. Butts.
Right.
Turned off.
Right.
And that was not very often.
Right.
Would Naziah ever
Damn.
access your phone to use it?
Yes. Like she would ask, "Hey, TT, can I see your phone?" Sure, I wouldn't mind. Yes.
And so would she text from that phone?
Probably yes.
Did you ever notice any text from
No.
her on your phone?
No.
Did you ever?
Pam, real quick. This silly woman that you see up on the stand, she has 5 kids by this creep. 5 kids. 5 kids by this creep. Nothing. This man was playing these silly women, boy. And the other woman that says she's a fiance and she ain't never been to his home. Yeah, exactly. 5 kids from this man. Knowing what he's all about. Ladies, we really got to do better, boy. Resume. We almost done, ladies and gentlemen. Well, somewhat.
Or noticed that she had used your Text Now app?
No, the only time when I would notice something and say if me and Jarvis would we won't be on the same page and eye to eye, and I would call him and he say why you will call me, or like why you continue to keep calling me, and I would say I haven't called you all day or in 2 days. Then I would go ask my kids like, hey, are y'all calling your dad because I haven't called him.
And until you looked in Nazia's Instagram account, did you ever notice anything on your phone that caused you to be concerned
No,
between Nazia and Mr. Butts?
no.
Mr. Butts, we said would come to the house to see his kids.
Okay.
He would drop them off at the house sometimes. He would take them places.
Yes.
He would pick Janiyah up from there.
Like he depending on like if he will pick up the kids, if I need him to pick up the kids from the pickup or drop off spot for school, he will do that. Yeah.
And then take them either to Clinton Township when you lived there or to the Bedford Street address.
Correct.
Okay. But most times he wouldn't even come to the house, right?
He will come to the house. He will call me first before he will come.
Would he come into the house physically or would he sit in his truck outside?
50%. He will sit in the car and wait till the kids come outside, or he will knock on the door.
Would he be in the house for any length of time?
Only if I'm inside the house.
Like he was visiting with you?
Yes.
So you never knew a time that Mr. Butts would have been alone in the house with Nazia?
No.
You can't think of a time when he would have been in the house and had gone down to the basement with her?
No.
Or any other room in the house alone?
No.
Do you think she lying or she telling the truth right now? That she don't know nothing about him going to the basement with her? I wonder that he was playing triangulation with all these women, having them all pinned up against each other. Probably was. Yep. All right, let's get back to it.
Would Mr. Butts have ever been at that house if another adult, like you or your mother, weren't there?
He will. What you said?
Would Mr. Butts ever be at the house if you or your mother weren't there?
No. It will be me or another person.
The idea that anything was going on between Mr. Butts and Nazia is shocking to you, right?
Correct.
You had no idea.
A lot of times actors rehearse horribly. They are trying to direct the other actor. So they may have a rehearsal that says, okay, when I go to the door and I turn and look at you, grab my arm. And the other actor will say, that's great. And then you push me away. Yeah, that's not how acting works. Don't do that. If that is you in rehearsal.
No.
You never noticed anything between Nazia and Mr. Butts that made you
Sorry,
concerned?
ladies and gentlemen, it is what it is.
No.
You never saw any inappropriate behavior?
Not at all.
You didn't notice Mr. Butts paying any special attention to her?
No.
Certainly, if you had noticed that, that would have caused you concern.
Yeah, it would have raised a whole bunch of red flags.
Likely, you wouldn't have invited him into the house, correct?
Correct.
You found it hard to believe even that Mr. Butts would hurt Nazia.
But I won't know. I don't know what he will do if a person's back is up against the wall.
But the thought of that was hard for you, at least at one point, to believe, correct?
Correct.
Now, during the time that you and Mr. Butts were together, he had children with other women.
Correct.
Pretty consistently with other women,
Correct.
more than one woman.
Correct.
Some of those women you actually knew about, correct?
Correct.
They lived kind of even in the same neighborhood on the east side.
Correct.
So you knew, I'm on you, silly woman. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to. This is, we have to learn from this. So, silly woman, You knew he was out here cheating like that, and you was still making babies with him and still being around him? Yep, we have to do better. That's what you call, this is a situation of a woman who's dating thirsty. She's not dating smart, she's dating thirsty. But we're going to get into grandma, so figure out where she learned it from. Resume. But grandma's not tonight. That'll be another day.
Would you suspect that there were women that you didn't know about?
Correct.
Even one that lived, or more than one that lived over on the west side?
Correct.
You believe he was going out there to see somebody around the end of 2023, January 2024?
Correct.
Before January the 9th, you had a conversation with Naziah about a location on Outer Drive in Belfort,
Yes.
and that was surprising to you, right?
Correct.
That's on the east side of Detroit.
Yes.
Did you end up giving her directions on how to get to that location?
Yes.
Why did you give her directions?
I was just getting out the shower and just getting myself together. She asked me, she said, "Hey, Titi," she said, "where is Belfort and Outer Drive?" And I told her, I said, "You know exactly where Belfort and Outer Drive at?" I said, "Outer Drive is right where the wine basket at." And I said, "You know where Belfort at?" And she was like, "I get Balfour and Bedford mixed up." So I said, "You already know Belfort is before Bedford." So she said, "Okay." She said, "Because we are in school and we are learning about our surroundings." So I said, "Okay." But that was the only two things that she had asked, was where was Outer Drive and Balfour at.
Does that location have any special significance to you?
No.
Do you know anybody at that location?
No, the only thing that I'm used to, I'm familiar with, is just picking up Jarvis Outer Drive in Belfort. It's just on a corner.
On a corner?
Mm-hmm.
Not at an address?
Not an address.
When was this conversation that you had about that location? Do you recall?
This was right before Naziah went missing.
Like how soon before? Weeks?
Maybe it was still like in that same week she went missing.
Mr. Butts didn't have his own vehicle, fair to say?
No, he didn't.
He generally used.
His female vehicles.
Did you know Mr. Butts to park at one location and maybe walk to another to kind of try to remain undetected?
I was hearing about that. 11, huh? Babies making babies, and then babies having babies. Okay, so now we see why. Where she's learning from. A home full of ratchet women. Oh, Lord have mercy. Let me be silly women. I'm going to use silly women. Thank you for sharing that. Let's resume.
Pretty much, yes.
So would it be not out of the ordinary for you to have to pick him up at a random, or what seemed to be a random location to you?
Correct.
You lived with Naziah for, you said, from about October until January the 9th.
Most homeowners have it somewhere in their house.
Correct.
So you spent a lot of time around her?
Yes.
You knew her mannerisms?
Yes.
Her demeanor?
Yes.
Her moods?
Yes.
Did anything strike you as out of the ordinary about how she was acting at any point in time in December or January before she disappeared?
No, Naziah, nothing have changed her character, none of that. She was just the same on Naziah. Nothing is different.
Naziah's a brother, right?
Yes.
He didn't care to find out.
No, he
He
confirmed
didn't
that in
care.
2023, is that right?
He's so busy
Yes.
trying to chase after his wood stick.
If it's something that had bothered her or something that she was dealing with at the time, could cause a change in her demeanor. Okay. Overall. So she did have a brother that ran away.
Correct.
And was that something that she struggled with?
She didn't like the fact that her brother was running away. Yes, she didn't like it.
Around the same time, around the time December, January, was her mother supposed to come visit, her biological mother?
Yes.
Did she end up coming to see Naziah?
Yes.
She did. Did Naziah seem to have some big emotions about that contact?
Yes.
It was complicated, fair to say?
Yes.
Did she talk to you about that?
All the time.
Did you notice anything? You said you didn't notice anything in a change in mood. So
No.
What about physically?
No.
I don't have anything else, thank you.
Did you go to the Park Crest Inn on January 9th, 2024? Mr.
No.
Butts?
No.
And fair to say, you knew of Mr. Butts having other females?
Yes.
And even some that you didn't know about?
Correct.
Okay. So would it be fair to say you don't always know, or you didn't always know what Mr. Butts was doing?
No.
You couldn't account for his whereabouts every minute of the day?
No.
Did you know him to, one of those cars that he leased, did you know him to have a white Escalade type truck?
Correct. Yes.
And you were asking questions about Outer Drive and Balfour. Fair to say, from what I gathered, the only connection you have to that area is Jarvis Butts.
Correct.
Okay, so he's the only one you would associate with that area.
Correct.
And you knew Mr. Butts to have other children?
Correct.
Okay, and you knew him to have clearly gotten other women pregnant?
Correct.
And to your knowledge, were all those women adults?
To my knowledge, yes.
Did he, to you, ever hide getting another woman pregnant?
No.
Help me to understand. Is she saying, question is, he never hid to her that he was having another baby? She said no. What? No, he just point blank was just making a fool of you. Date smart, not thirsty.
Nothing further, Judge.
Okay, you are going to testify, please watch yourself. Who's going to be going to the next witness? Okay.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. I just want to focus on this silly woman. So we're going to get into grandma. Grandma's probably be the next one. I don't know, but I'm going to focus on the women. Mainly I'm focused on the women. And next one might be grandma. So stay tuned. But thank you for being here. Thank you for engaging for this late night live stream. I'm sorry for the mix up from before. So just remember, ladies and gentlemen, and this goes for the men too. Date smart, not thirsty. Okay? Please. And think about your children. Stop trying to putting these men before your children. Are you kidding me? A real man, a real man, he will not want you. That is the biggest turn off. Only these creeps, sleazeballs, dusties. Oh, they love it. They love it. All right, let's have a moment of silence for this beautiful young lady. I'm so sorry what happened to you. You didn't deserve it. You was just looking for love. You just wanted somebody to love you. And nobody in your family, nobody. And here come this creep creeping along. Rest in peace, beautiful angel. Moment of silence, ladies and gentlemen.